She wasn't from this world, and when her glowing green fingers touched his wrist, time seemed to freeze. In a land where love had vanished with civilization, she only wanted one thing, him. The sun scorched the sands of what used to be Nevada. Wind carried ash across the crumbling highways, and skeletons of buildings jutted from the earth like broken teeth. Rex stood beneath the torn canvas of his stall, wiping the sweat from his neck with the ragged sleeve of his vest. His food stall was the last known trading post for miles, a bizarre oasis where alien travelers and desperate survivors traded memories for meals. Cans lined his shelf, some labeled in Earth languages, others in scripts no human tongue could pronounce. But Rex had what others didn't: flavor. Somehow, in the midst of this desert apocalypse, he served hot soup, fried dumplings, even roasted meat. Nobody ever asked how. Maybe they were afraid to. It started with a shimmer on the horizon. Rex narrowed his eyes, instinctively reaching for the rusted revolver beneath the counter. The heat played tricks often, but this shimmer moved with purpose. She arrived walking. Not riding, not floating like some of the others. Her legs cut long shadows in the dust. Her skin was emerald green, smooth as glass. Long silver-white hair framed eyes that seemed too knowing, too ancient. Rex didn't blink. "You look like trouble," he muttered, lowering the revolver but keeping it within reach. She grinned, her teeth too perfect. "And you look like you're starving for conversation." Her voice was melodic, almost sung. She perched on the crooked stool at the bar and leaned forward with a confidence that made Rex's spine straighten. "What'll it be?" he asked, tone flat. "Surprise me." He opened a can of protein stew, added a few dried herbs and a splash of filtered water, then dropped it into the solar burner. It hissed softly. She watched every move, not like a customer, but like someone studying an ancient ritual. "You have a name?" Rex asked without looking up. "Zara." The name lingered in the air like perfume. He nodded. "Rex." She tilted her head. "Short for something?" "Nope. Just Rex." They said nothing for a while, the silence filled with the soft pop of cooking stew and the distant groans of shifting metal in the wind. Finally, he set a steaming bowl before her. Zara took one slow sip. Then another. Her expression didn't change, but her eyes glowed a fraction brighter. "This tastes like a dream I forgot," she whispered. Rex chuckled under his breath. "Then you're the first person to say that and not run afterward." She leaned in closer, resting her chin on her hands. "I came here for the taste. I stayed for the mystery." Rex raised an eyebrow. "You came from another planet for stew?" Zara smirked. "No. I came for **, you star." The words slammed into him like a sandstorm. He played it cool, looking away. "You don't even know me, don't I?" Something about the way she said it made the hair on his arms rise. He searched her face, but she gave away nothing. "Stay the night," she said suddenly. "Let me cook for you." Rex scoffed. "That's not how stalls work." "Then let's make this stall work differently." He hesitated. No one stayed overnight. It was unspoken law. But he heard himself say, one night. "You cook." She smiled, pulled a strange spice pod from a pouch on her hip, and began slicing vegetables with a blade of blue light. She moved like she'd done it 1,000 times. By nightfall, they were sitting across from each other, sharing a meal that didn't taste like the end of the world. Rex laughed. Zara sang a lullaby in a language he couldn't name. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone. When he woke the next morning, she was gone. No footprints in the sand. No trace of her. Just one thing left behind. A small, rusted locket sitting on the counter. Rex opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a picture of himself as a boy. And standing next to him a green-skinned girl with silver hair, smiling like she'd always known they'd meet again. The locket's hinge creaked as it swung open, revealing the impossible. There he was, 10 years old, dirt-smudged cheeks and messy hair, standing beside a girl who shouldn't exist. Green skin, silver hair, and that same half-smile, Zara. But this photo had to be decades old. He didn't remember it. Didn't remember her. Rex sat motionless for hours, staring at the image until the desert sun climbed high above the ruins again. Questions spiraled. But no answers came. The next day, and the one after that, alien girls arrived at his stall more than usual. They brought strange trinkets, crystals, even laughter. But each, in her own way, dropped cryptic remarks. "You're finally waking up," said one with shimmering blue eyes. "She's always been your shadow," whispered another. "You'll have to choose," murmured a third, placing a glowing orb on his counter and vanishing into thin air. Rex stopped sleeping. He dug through his storage crates, unearthing the locked chest he hadn't touched since the collapse. Inside, blueprints, half-burned research logs, and a data cube labeled Project EVE. The memories returned slowly. He had been a biogeneticist working on a final contingency: Earth's salvation. The apocalypse had begun with failing atmospheres, wars for water, and then the portals. Aliens came, some to help, many to conquer. In desperation, governments greenlit a radical project: create a hybrid being capable of thriving in both Earth and alien environments. Emotionally bonded to a single human, designed to love and evolve with them. The project was scrapped before completion. Or so he thought. Zara wasn't just beautiful or mysterious. She was created possibly by him. A companion encoded with everything he had ever lost. And yet, she was so much more. She had memories he didn't implant. Emotions that felt too raw. Real. One evening, Zara returned. No announcement, no sound, just the soft scrape of boots on sand as she stepped into the stall's shadow. "You've been remembering," she said gently. Rex stood, arms crossed. "You were part of Project EVE. Yes. But I've lived far beyond it." He searched her face. "Why now? Why come back?" "Because time is short. And you must decide." "Decide what?" Zara's lips pressed into a sad smile. "Whether your love is real, or programmed." Before he could answer, more arrived. 3 others, alien women, radiant in ways that bent light itself. One with copper skin that shimmered like a hologram, one cloaked in shifting shadow, and another glowing faintly blue, eyes endless like the void of space. Each took a seat around the stall. None ordered food. "We are the sentients of Continuum," said the copper-skinned one. "Our people have been observing Earth since the fall. We found you, Rex Mercer, worthy of the bonding trial." Rex scoffed. "Is this a game to you?" "No," Zara said. "It's the only way to restore your world." The glowing woman leaned forward. "Each of us represents a path. A possible evolution. Your heart will decide which is worthy." "I never asked for this," he growled. "Neither did we," Zara said quietly. "But love must be chosen freely, or it means nothing." 4 days, they remained. Each day, a different one cooked, told stories, made music or memories with Rex. The copper woman spoke of rebuilding with strength and reason. The shadow-cloaked one offered knowledge, secrets lost to time. The blue-eyed starlight girl showed him glimpses of futures that might be paradises with no pain. Zara didn't promise anything. She only listened. Sat beside him. Cooked meals like they were sharing a home. She touched him less, spoke softer. But every glance lingered. Every silence between them was full. He found himself laughing with them all. Confused by his feelings. But every night, as he lay on the rooftop under the fractured stars, it was Zara's voice that echoed in his mind. "You must decide," the sentience repeated. "What if I choose wrong?" he asked. "Then Earth remains dust. The cycle ends." One morning, as dawn painted the sand gold, Zara approached him. "You're scared," she said. "Wouldn't you be?" She nodded. "But love isn't about certainty. It's about faith." Rex closed his eyes. "What if what I feel isn't love, but guilt? Or nostalgia?" She touched his chest. "Then choose someone else." "I don't want someone else." "Then prove it." "Not to me. To yourself." That night, the others waited by the fire. The trial was coming to an end. Zara stayed back, alone at the stall, humming that same haunting lullaby. Rex approached her. "If I choose you, the world resets. If I don't, it ends. That it?" Zara turned to him, eyes brimming with something ancient. "No, Rex. If you choose me, we begin." The world follows our lead. He reached for her hand. But before his fingers met hers, a sudden gust of wind howled through the stall. Sand spiraled upward into the sky like a storm. The fire behind them roared and vanished. Zara looked down. She was fading. "You hesitated too long," she whispered. And then she was gone. The silence after Zara vanished felt like a physical wound. Rex staggered backward, blinking through the storm of dust, calling her name again and again. But she didn't return. The others were gone, too. The campfire was snuffed out as if it had never been lit. Only the stall remained, creaking softly in the breeze, lonely and lifeless. Rex stood there for hours, numb. He didn't sleep that night. Or the next. By the third day, a strange hum came from the locked crate beneath his stall. The same crate that had once stored Project Eve's research. Rex pried it open and discovered a blinking console screen buried beneath old data drives and dried-out batteries. It read, **** last sync detected, 0.exe 9.3 seconds before temporal anomaly ****. His hands trembled as he connected the console to a power cell. A projection flickered into life. It wasn't Zara, but a wireframe version of her, an echo recorded just before she vanished. "Hello, Rex," the voice said softly. "This is my contingency. If you're seeing this, it means you weren't ready to choose. But you can still fix this." She explained everything. Zara and the other women were more than alien emissaries. They were living keys, carriers of a bond-based genetic code that could either terraform Earth anew or leave it to die. The sentients didn't need a hero, they needed an anchor. Someone whose emotional core could harmonize with one of the keys and activate the global DNA sync. But to do that, it had to be love. Rex watched the projection collapse into static, a final whisper lingering, ** your heart knows the way. Find me, before they erase us both. **. Fueled by something deeper than desperation, Rex packed the few relics of his past, the locket, the data drives, the recipe book Zara had written in, and left the stall behind. He followed faint signs through the wasteland, a trail of alien spices scattered across sand, fragments of her humming in desert winds, carvings etched in dead stone. The other women appeared occasionally, spectral, silent, watching him. They never spoke. Never interfered. On the 12th night, beneath a red moon, Rex found the ruins of an ancient observatory. The doors creaked open on their own, and inside, glowing vines curled around a crystal chamber. She was there. Zara. Suspended in light. Motionless. Eyes closed. He rushed forward, heart racing. Her chest barely rose and fell, caught in some kind of stasis. Around the chamber, alien glyphs pulsed like a heartbeat. A console beside it blinked with a single line. ****, make the choice. ****. Another message pulsed below it. ****, activate. Zara Earth sync decline. Return to shadow timeline ****. He stared at the words, breath shaking. This wasn't a romantic decision anymore. This was reality-altering. If he chose wrong, the version of Earth he lived in could be erased. All survivors lost. Maybe even himself. But if he chose her. Rex laid his palm on the activation panel. His voice cracked. "I don't care if you were made for me. I love you anyway." The chamber lit up. Vines burst into flower. The entire observatory trembled as light flowed through ancient conduits. And slowly, her eyes opened. Zara blinked, breath returning in full. Her voice, soft and raw, said one word. "Rex." He rushed into her arms. She held him like she'd never let go. But the moment was short-lived. A new figure appeared from the shadows, a silhouette in swirling armor, neither woman nor man, its face a void of stars. "You made your choice," it said, voice vibrating through the air. "I did. Then the reckoning begins." Rex pulled Zara close. "What does that mean?" She looked into his eyes. "It means we fight, for everything." The observatory shook harder. Cracks split the walls. Outside, the desert sky began to twist, moons doubling, stars vanishing, new constellations blinking into being. Reality was reshaping. He had chosen. Now came the cost. And the final trial. The world trembled as reality bent around them. The stars above warped into spirals. The desert cracked like dry glass beneath their feet. Where once there had been silence, now came a low thrum as if the planet itself had begun to breathe. Zara clutched Rex's hand tightly. The reckoning isn't punishment. It's transformation. Everything is reacting to your choice. Rex stared at the sky as streaks of color melted and reformed, like brushstrokes on a cosmic canvas. This isn't just Earth changing. It's everything, isn't it? She nodded. Time, space, memory, all reshaped by your bond with me. The armored figure stepped closer, faceless and calm amidst the chaos. The sentients are watching. If you falter, the new world collapses before it's born. Rex's grip on Zara's hand tightened. Then we don't falter. With that, the crystal chamber split open, and the observatory floor folded into a spiraling platform that lifted them high into the air. The wasteland below began to shift, dead earth turning green, water bubbling through cracks, long dead trees pushing through rubble. Zara looked into Rex's eyes. This next part, we do together. Show me how, he whispered. She pressed her forehead to his. Light poured from their joined hands, flowing into the air around them. The platform erupted in vines and blossoms, wrapping their legs and spiraling upward like a living staircase. Above them, the void shimmered. One by one, the other alien women appeared again, no longer competitors, but guardians. Each raised a hand, channeling energy toward the sky. The armored figure knelt and touched the earth. A single pulse spread across the surface, activating buried nodes beneath cities, oceans, mountains. Everywhere, life returned. Rex's memories flooded back. His childhood garden. The laugh of his mother. His first kiss in a summer rain. All of it layered itself into the new earth like rich soil. Zara was beside him in every memory now, no longer added, just always there. The bond was complete. The platform descended slowly. As it touched the reformed ground, the winds died. The silence returned, but this time, it was peaceful. Birdsong filled the air. Real birds. Zara smiled, tears glistening. You've given Earth a second soul. Rex looked around. The horizon was lush. Lakes sparkled in the distance. Trees swayed in wind that smelled of rain and moss. And his stall stood there, untouched, at the center of it all. Like a marker. A gathering point. Over the days that followed, survivors emerged from the shadows. Some human, some not. Drawn to the new harmony, they gathered. Not to trade, but to live. To plant. To begin again. Rex rebuilt his stall into a home. Zara planted a garden that glowed under moonlight. The other women vanished like mist, their roles fulfilled. But sometimes, at night, Rex swore he could still hear their laughter in the stars. Weeks passed. Then months. One evening, as fireflies danced in the garden, Rex sat beside Zara on the wooden bench they'd carved from the last tree they planted together. He turned to her, brushing silver hair from her face. What happens now? She rested her head on his shoulder. Now, we live. We love. We make mistakes. And we keep choosing each other. Every day. Rex exhaled, deep and full. Even if I forget why I chose you in the first place. Zara kissed his cheek. Then I'll remind you. They sat in silence, the kind that only exists between souls who have seen the end and chosen to begin again. And far above them, in a sky stitched with unfamiliar constellations, the stars shone with quiet approval. The Earth had been saved. Not by war. Not by science. But by love strong enough to rewrite the universe. Rex pulled her close and whispered, I never wanted to save the world, just you. Zara smiled. And yet, you did both.